This standard is about adding and subtracting polynomials. First we'll talk about some definitions, then we'll get on to the business of actually adding and subtracting some polynomials. First of all, what is a polynomial? It's a long string of variables and numbers. It looks something like this maybe, 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. You can see this polynomial is made up of different parts. Each one of the different parts that's separated by an addition or subtraction sign is called a term. So in this polynomial, one of the terms is 3x squared, and another term is 2x, and another term is minus 5. The coefficient is the number that's in front of the variable. So in the term 3x squared, the coefficient is 3. The constant is the number that's all by itself that has no letter. So in this polynomial, the constant term is 5. So the constant term is a number only with no variable. The degree of the polynomial is the highest exponent that's in the polynomial. So this one has a squared, a plain old x, and a number. So the degree of this polynomial is 2. So it's the highest exponent, which once again was 2 in this example. If a polynomial is in standard form, that means the exponents are arranged from biggest to smallest, and it just looks nicer that way. So this one is in standard form. Exponents from biggest to smallest. So polynomials can have different names. A monomial is a polynomial that only has one term. For instance, 7x to the 4th. A binomial is a polynomial that has two terms. For instance, 2x squared minus 5. And a trinomial, yes, you guessed it, it's a polynomial that has three terms. So 14x to the 5th minus 3x to the 3rd plus x. So now we'll talk a little bit more about what a polynomial is. It's basically a string of terms connected by adding or subtracting with no funny business going on in the exponents. So this first term here, 5x squared minus 2x, this is a polynomial. The second one is not a polynomial because you have a negative exponent. The third one is not a polynomial because it has a square root in it. This one isn't a polynomial because it has a term in the denominator. So this whole thing here is a bad scene. No. And the next one isn't a polynomial because it has a fraction in the exponent. So no here as well. And there's one more. This one here is a polynomial. It has all regular numbers in the exponents. There's no fractions. It's okay if you have more than one variable. X, y squared isn't a problem. So this last expression here is a polynomial. So what can you do with a polynomial? This polynomial here has a problem. If you look at the degree of the exponents, you'll see that some of them are the same. There's a squared, a plain old x, a cubed, and another plain old x. So you can combine the negative 3x and the negative 10x to give you negative 13x. So in simplified form, 4x squared minus 13x plus 7x to the 3rd. And just for good measure, I'll put this thing in standard form, so I'll put the highest exponent first, 7x to the 3rd plus 4x squared minus 13x. Now let's simplify this next one. It's a little bit uglier because there's more than one variable, but let's just look at the ones that are the same. A squared b, ab squared, a squared b. So this first one and this last one both have an a squared b in them, so I'm going to combine those to give me 17a squared b plus 2ab minus 3ab squared. Now we're going to actually add some polynomials. So here's two polynomials, 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. That's a second degree trinomial. Second degree because the highest exponent is 2, and trinomial because there's 3 terms. And I'm going to add that to a second degree binomial. So what I do is look for terms that are alike and add those. So I see a 3x squared and a 7x squared. That's going to combine to give me 10x squared. And there's a 2x and no other x's, so I'll just add plus 2x. And then as far as the constant terms go, I have a minus 1 and a minus 9. That's going to add to give me minus 10. Subtracting polynomials is exactly like adding polynomials, except there's one important thing you have to do first. I'd like you to always turn these into adding the opposite. And you can tell I think that's important because I made it red and all caps. If you don't add the opposite, people have a tendency to lose minus signs as you go further and further into the polynomial. So what I'm going to do is turn this into a plus, and then this turns into a minus, and that turns into a plus. And that way there's no worrying as I'm going along. I just add everything, and I think it's much easier. So what do I have? 5x to the third? No other x to the thirds. Minus 6x squared plus negative 3x squared. That's going to give me minus 9x squared. And then plus 2 combined with a plus 4 is plus 6.